Namaskar, my dear students. Hope you are all fine. Today I am going to discuss the next topic of the unit genetics, and the topic that we are going to discuss today is the linkage and crossing over. Two very important phenomena which are responsible for the all the details which are expressed in the coming generations either in terms of similarities or in terms of variations. In fact, linkage and crossing over together play a very vital role in bringing about the speciation, evolution, and the variations. Now, first of all, let us talk about linkage. Actually, genetic linkage is the tendency of the alleles that are close together on the chromosomes to be inherited together during the meiosis phase of the sexual reproduction. What I mean to say by this is that the inheritance of the genes of same chromosome together and capacity of these genes to retain their parental combination in the subsequent generation is known as linkage. In fact, linkage refers to the packaging genes onto the chromosomes which are inherited together and pass on to the offsprings together. Sutton was a scientist who in the year 1903 pointed out that a number of characters which obeyed Mendel's laws when investigated singly through the monohybrid cross was much more than the number of the chromosomes pair to which they could be assigned. This means that there must be many genes located on the same chromosomes. What I mean to say by this is that the number of the genes was far more than the number of the chromosomes. Hence, genes must be located together on the chromosomes. Genes located on the same chromosome, they remain linked together in passing generations, and this phenomena was given the term linkage. Now, what are the various characteristics which are shown by the linkage phenomena? The first of all, linkage, it shows two or more genes which are located on the same chromosome in a linear fashion, that is in the same way as the passengers traveling in the same bus, they will move to the same destination. Linkage reduces variability because the parental combinations move together because of this phenomena, hence the variability is reduced very much. Linkage may involve either dominant or recessive allele or some dominant and some recessive allele, which is called as coupling phase and repulsion phase respectively. Linkage usually occur in those genes which are located close to each other. That is, more the distance between the two genes, even on the same chromosome, lesser are the chances of their being passed on to the gametes in a linked fashion. I will explain this concept in the crossing over, that how does the further located genes, even on the same chromosomes, they get separated from each other with the phenomena of crossing over. The strength of linkage depends on the distance between the linked genes. Lesser the distance, higher the strength of linkage, and vice versa. It can be determined from the test cross progeny data. Now, there are the different types of the linkage on the basis of whether it is permanent linkage or it can be broken, and is classified into two types. One is called as complete linkage and other is called as incomplete linkage. The complete linkage was studied by or reported by Morgan in Drosophila when he was studying a wild fly with grey body and normal wings, and it was crossed with the female having black body and vestigial wings. And the results were altogether different from what Mendel had predicted. So he was in a position to define the complete linkage as a state in which two loci are so closely related, closely present together that the alleles of these loci virtually never separate by the crossing over. Actually, for the crossing over to take place, there must be a definite distance between the genes. If that distance is not present, linkage is complete and never broken. In a complete linkage, there should be parental combination and no recombination is possible, and because always those two genes will appear together. Now, so far as the incomplete linkage is concerned, incomplete linkage produces new combination of the genes in the progeny due to the formation of the or the occurrence of the crossing over in between the linked genes present on the homologous chromosomes, and this was studied in the sweet pea, and a cross was made between blue flower and long pollen with red flower and round pollen, and the results which were obtained, they were in between the results as expected from the complete linkage and the results expected from the Mendelian cross, which gave us sufficient proof that the genes present in the same chromosomes have a tendency to separate due to crossing over and hence produce a recombinant progeny besides the parental progeny. The number of the recombinant individuals is usually lesser than the number expected in the independent assortment, because independent assortment gives us the indication of 100% recombinants and complete linkage gives us the indication of no recombinant. If the results are present in between, this corresponds to the incomplete linkage, which is due to the presence of the genes on the same chromosome with a larger distance. So these are the two types of the linkage: complete linkage and incomplete linkage. Then comes the significance of the linkage. Linkage does not permit the breeders to bring the desirable characters in one variety by a way of hybridization, because it plays an important role in determining the nature and scope of hybridization and selection program. It reduces the chances of recombinant genes and thus helps to hold the parental characteristics together. Linkage holds the parental characteristics together, as a result of which what happens that if the horticulturist or the farmer requires the parental characters to retain, then linkage is of the great help. But if he wants to produce the hybrid, then the linkage can be a barrier for his help. It thus helps the organisms to maintain its parental, racial and other characters for the subsequent generations to come. The linked characters are maintained for generations because linkage prevents the incidence of the recombination. For this reason, the plant breeders and animal breeders find it very difficult to combine the various characters of their own choice. So, this is the significance of the linkage. Now, one important topic, that is the non-disjunction, is to be studied along with the linkage. And what is this non-disjunction? As you know, if the gamete, when the meiosis is taking place, then at in the prophase 1 of meiosis 1, the chromosomes, they come to lie together and homologous chromosomes then move to the separate poles. But homologous chromosomes do not, sometimes what happens that homologous chromosomes do not separate or disjoin during meiosis into individual gametes. This phenomena is known as non-disjunction. This is not a normal phenomena, but it may happen, and it mainly happens due to the lack of proper pairing between the homologous chromosomes during metaphase. As a result, what will happen? Centromeres of two homologous chromosomes are not on the opposite side of the metaphase, and therefore unpaired homologues then separate randomly, going either to the opposite pole or to the same pole. Thus, what will happen? When the cells are formed, or the gametes which are the result of the meiosis they are formed, one gamete will have one chromosome extra, whereas none in the other. If the gamete is having one chromosome extra, is fertilized with the normal gamete, the zygote will have an extra chromosome, and such a condition is called as trisomy, one chromosome extra. On the other hand, if one is having extra chromosome, other will be missing. If the gamete missing a chromosome is fertilized by the normal gamete, the zygote will have one copy of chromosome only, and such a condition is called as the monosomy. This must not be related with the linkage that the chromosomes are linked and it is the trisomy. It is another phenomena which must be discussed along with linkage so as to have a better understanding, or we can differentiate between the two phenomena. The next that we are going to discuss today is the crossing over. Dear students, it will not be wrong to call linkage and crossing over as the two opposite aspects of the same phenomena. Crossing over, which is responsible for recombinations, is the process of exchange of genetic material or the segments between non-sister chromatids of two homologous chromosomes. Crossing over occurs due to interchange of sections of homologous chromosomes. And so we may define crossing over as the phenomena, the process during the meiosis in which homologous chromosomes exchange their pieces. This leads to the genetic diversity of the egg and the sperms are produced. It's the crossing over which is responsible for all the variations, all the evolution, and hence all the speciation on the in the living world. Crossing over, as you can see in this figure, it is well demarcated with the help of the colors, that crossing over or the chromosomal crossover is the exchange of genetic material between the two homologous chromosomes, and the result is the recombinant chromosome, as you can see in this figure. So we shall be discussing how does the crossing over phenomena occurs, or what is the mechanism of the crossing over. In fact, mechanism of crossing over can be explained like this. The homologous chromosomes pair lengthwise due to a force of mutual attraction in the zygote of prophase 1 of meiosis. That is, the non-sister chromatids exchange their parts. Now, what is non-sister chromatids? You can see this figure. Here, these are the two homologous chromosomes. This orange one and yellow one, these are the non-sister chromatids. Similarly, this red color and the green color indicated in the figure, they are non-sister chromatids. And crossover occurs between the two chromatids of the homologous chromosomes which are non-sister to each other but lying closer to each other. That is, this is the yellow and orange are quite liable to have crossover amongst them. However, crossover can also occur between the red and the green, but chances are more of the orange and the yellow. Now, how does it proceed? The pairing starts at one of the more points and proceeds along the whole length in the zipper fashion. The process of pairing is called as synapses. The paired homologous chromosomes are called as the bivalents. During synapsis, a molecular scaffold called as synaptonemal complex aligns the DNA molecule of the two homologous chromosomes. Then the chromosomes duplicate and four strands of the chromatids are quite visible, and then takes place the crossover as shown in this figure, that the two non-sister chromatids are exchanging their parts, and it happens in Pachytene stage when they exchange their parts. Dear students, I am quite sure that you understand the process of uh, meiosis, wherein the Pachytene stage occurs and the non-sister chromatids of the homologous pair twist over each other due to action of enzyme endonuclease. The chromatids get connected with each other at the point called as the chiasmata. Chiasmata becomes visible during diplotin stage of prophase during meiosis, but actual crossing over occurs during the Pachytene stage. Now, only points of contact is called as the chiasmata. After this, the crossing over takes place at several points. The number of chiasmata formed is proportional to the length of the chromatid. That is, longer the chromatid, more are the number of the chiasmata. The genes at distant loci undergo crossing over, but very closely placed, they fail to cause the crossover. Now you can see this is the Pachytene stage and this is the diplotin stage of the same chromosome. Here the chiasmata is almost at the center of the chromosome. Here it has shifted towards the terminal end. During dikinesis of the prophase 1, the chiasmata moves towards the end of the bivalent, and this process is called as terminalization, that is ending of the crossover. Thus twisting of the chromatids separate so that the homologous chromosomes are separated completely, and it happens at the anaphase phase of the chromosome, that is they are totally separate and moves towards the opposite poles. Now this is the mechanism of the crossing over. Now I shall be talking about the kinds of crossing over depending upon the number of chiasmata. First is the single crossover. Here when only one chiasmata is formed and leads to the formation of the single crossover gametes, and it is the commonest form of the crossover. The next one is the double crossover, where the two chiasmata develop, and these chiasmata may appear between the same chromatids or between the different chromatids. That is like this. They may appear between the same chromatids or between the different chromatids, as you can see in this figure. Now, then this type of crossover, double crossover, it is also very common, and the third one is the multiple crossover. Here more than two chiasmata are constituted. It may further be divided into triple if there are three chiasmata, quadruple if there are four chiasmata, and so on. Multiple crossover, however, it is of rare occurrence, and these are the three types of the crossovers depending upon the number of the crossovers, chiasmata formed. Then there are the two theories of the crossing over which are very prevalent. First is the contact first theory, chiasmata type theory it is also called, and the classical theory, that is the breakage first theory. According to contact first theory, the inner two chromatids of the homologous chromosomes undergo crossover. First touch each other and then crossover takes place. At the point of contact, breakage occurs, broken segments again unite. But according to the breakage first theory, the chromatids undergoing crossover first break and then they unite when they come closer to each other, then they reunite. However, the result is the same, but the process is considered to be different, and these theories are uh, uh, giving the same result, and the result is the recombinant chromosomes. Now the question arises, does the crossover takes place in all the living organism? Does it takes place at all the stages of life cycle? So there must be some factors which influence the crossover. First is the, as discussed earlier, is the distance between the gene. More the distance between the two genes at the same chromosomes, higher is the frequency of the crossover. Lesser the distance, lesser is the crossovers. Now, significance of the crossover. This process provides a vast storage of the genetic variable in the sexually reproducing organisms. What I mean to say, this provides inexhaustible store of the genetic variability. Useful recombinations are used by plants and animals breeders. Breeders try to break up the linkage by crossover to get the combinations which are useful to them for producing a new variety. Then another significance is the process produces new combinations of genes which are called as recombinant varieties. And it is worth mentioning here that the Green Revolution is mainly due to the selective picking of the useful genetic recombinations developed by the crossover techniques, breaking the linkage, developing the crossover, and new varieties are formed. And this was the main reason of the green evolution, that the desired characteristics were produced in the varieties. Now, a very important thing that we must discuss here is the unit of crossover. Unit of crossover, a unit for expressing the relative distance between the genes of the chromosome. 1 morgon, the unit of crossover is the morgon, given after the name of the scientist Morgan M, which is equal to the crossover value of 100%. A crossover value of 10% is decimorgon, 1% is centimorgon, and it is named in the honor of the Thomas Hunt. And 1 morgon is the minimum distance required for one crossover to take place in the chromosome, because longer the distance, more are the chances of crossover. So at least a particular distance is required for the crossover to take place. That is why a complete linkage exists between few genes, because they are so closely related that they do not cross the even the 1 morgon length. So after the unit of crossover, I am going to discuss a very important phenomena, and that is the gene mapping. Dear students, the gene mapping has been possible because of the phenomena of the linkage and the crossing over, because it is the linkage and the crossing over which gave us the idea that the genes are located in the linear fashion and they can be crossover, recombinants can be produced, and hence we can do something to find out the location of the gene on the chromosome, and that technique is known as the gene mapping, which is mapping, that is determining the location of the elements within the genome with respect to identifiable landmarks. Now there are two types of the mapping, with tools and the resource utilized. Genetic mapping, linear description of the DNA markers or the genes on the given chromosomes, with closely placed markers being inherited together often. Linkage mapping, pedigree, and polymorphic markers. Then the next one is the physical mapping. Physical location on the chromosome relating more towards the exact positioning of the gene element, that is cytogenetic mapping, somatic cell mapping, radiation hybrid mapping and restriction mapping, which is used with the help of various enzymes. Then there is the comparative mapping, that is by using the gene sequences or the databases or the DNA clips. Whatever the technique we may apply, if we are able to find out the position of a gene on the chromosome nearly exact, that is called as the gene mapping. Now, here I can explain you that suppose we have a chromosome which consists of the gene A, B, C, D, E, F, G and H. Genes are shown in the relative order and the distance from each other based on the pedigree studies. Now you can see that the chances of the chromosomes breaking A and C, between A and C are higher than between A and B, because A and B are closely related, present closely close to each other. And similarly, the chances of the chromosome of breaking between E and F is quite higher then the chances of the chromosome breaking between F and G, because F and G are even close to each other. The closer two genes are more likely to be inherited together. If the pedigree studies shows high incidence of co-occurrence, then it means that the genes, that is the, if we study the particular inheritance of a particular gene in the subsequent generation and we find it present together for the several generation, to which we call pedigree, then there are the chances that they are very closely linked with each other and we can uh, identify the position of such genes. The world's first chromosome map, the chromosome organization, emerged from a combination of genetic and the cytological studies. Morgan laid the foundation for these studies when he demonstrated the gene for the white eyes in Drosophila was located on the X chromosome and it was the sex-linked character. The map was a straight line and each gene was situated at a particular point or the locus. Now what is locus? Locus is a fixed position on the chromosome that is occupied by a given gene on the one of its alleles. Now why we study gene mapping and how it is important. Gene mapping is in fact the anatomy of the genome, whatever is under consideration, whether it is human genome or whatsoever the individual organism we are studying. It helps in analyzing of the heterogeneity and segregation of several genetic diseases. It also helps a method for the gene therapy and it is very clinically useful because it provides information about the linkage. So this is the importance of the gene mapping and that's all for today. Thank you. Stay safe and my dear students, these phenomena are not only very interesting to understand but very important to understand in order to study how does the inheritance occurs and how does the evolution occurs. Thank you. Stay safe.